Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Daily Word. Today's Wednesday, January 12th of this new year, 2022. Glad you could join me for our few minutes together. Looking outside, it's a little bit of sun poking out today, but doesn't look like it's going to be as cold today. So I'm actually, you can tell in my dining room today, my mobility is pretty limited today. Not getting around very well, so I just decided to stay home this morning, and I have stuff here to work from home, and we'll get stuff ready for Sunday morning, if nothing else. So glad you could join me for our continued conversation about the daily word. So I chose these first 12 verses of Psalm 90. These are some pretty powerful words. This Psalm 90 is a prayer of Moses, and it's called a prayer of Moses, the man of God. And there's some interesting words for us as we read in Psalm 90, verses 1 through 12. It says this: Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn us back to dust and say, turn back, you mortals, for 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday, when it is past, or like a watch in the night. You sweep them away, they are like a dream, like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers. For we are consumed by your anger, by your wrath we are overwhelmed. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your countenance. For all our days pass away under your wrath. Our years come to an end like a sigh. The days of our life are like 70 years, or perhaps 80, if we are strong. Even then their span is only toil and trouble. They are soon gone, and we fly away. Who considers the power of your anger? Your wrath is as great as the fear that is due you. So teach us to count our days, that we may gain a wise heart. I've read this several times this morning, and I'm almost struck, that there's not much to say about this. Such powerful words, this prayer of Moses, who recognizes God in his life and what God has called him to. But I got to thinking about this, especially this verse 12, that Moses asks God to teach us to count our days. And I think for us, for all of us, we count what matters, right? We count birthdays, we count money, we count viewers if you're on Facebook like me, we count people in attendance at church. For me, I do basketball books, so I count points, I count fouls, I count timeouts. And almost inevitably, at the end of every ball game, someone has a question. Jim, are you sure those were the right points? I had this person for this many points, and we count what matters. We count wins and losses. There have been, if you're a football fan like me, there have been lots of firings of coaches. And so those are often almost exclusively based on wins and losses and how all that takes place. We count as a way of keeping track, as a way of paying attention, as a way of valuing. And then what we don't count, what doesn't seem to be important enough to keep track of, kind of drifts to the back. It loses our attention. And so we hear these words from this prayer of Moses, these powerful words about who God is and how God's been our dwelling place in all the generations, and how we live our lives, and if we're lucky enough, it's 70 or 80 years, and then we're soon gone and we fly away. We're taught to count our days that we might gain a wise heart. What I wondered about when I read this particular text for us this morning is I wonder sometimes if in our counting, if we don't count enough the everyday occurrences in our life, where we recognize every day in the midst of our lives the important events that happen, the way that God moves in our lives, the way that we recognize God, and then I think importantly these amazing opportunities in life that are hidden in plain sight every single day. Now think about all the things in our lives that happen to us day after day, and sometimes those things are hidden in plain sight when really they are opportunities for us to notice the amazing and the presence of God in our lives. The psalmist is asking for wisdom to see every day as valuable, to count it, to name it, to see the opportunity that might lie within it, and to live life then accordingly in the midst of the highs and the lows. It seems to me that in these difficult days, we need to learn to count every day, every opportunity that happens to us, because every single day matters. Now think about what Moses realizes in this prayer. That God's been our dwelling place in all generations. And from everlasting to everlasting, God is God. And eventually, we are turned back to dust. And it says that 1,000 years in God's sight are like yesterday. But for us, I think the challenge in all of our living is to realize that we should indeed count our days, that we may gain a wise heart. Now for me, and as we live our lives, what that means for us is that we count every day, that we take every day as an opportunity to live our fullest and best lives. Now I told you earlier, I'm working from home today. I'm not walking at all good today. Had a lot of pain last night, and so just decided to stay home. And so instead of wallowing in that, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I brought lots of stuff home with me because I knew I was going to have the boys yesterday. So I have lots of things I can get accomplished, and I already have many things done, and I'm going to start working on Ash Wednesday today. And to think about that in this opportunity, I have the opportunity to stay home, to not have to go anywhere, and then use that, then to count that day as an opportunity to know what and to seek what God calls me to. It's true for all of us as we live our lives. Life goes by really fast. I'm going to have a birthday. 13 days is my birthday. I'm going to be 58. I know for some of you that doesn't sound like a big deal, but 58, and I sometimes wonder, where the heck have 58 years gone? I don't know. It's just, as you know, as we fully well know, all of us who watch these daily words, they go by really fast. One day we're 10, the next day we're 58. And all of that happens to us. And then we're 98, if we're lucky. But this reminder from Moses in this deep prayer, this reminder to recognize God for who God is, this reminder that, excuse me, try not to sneeze. This reminder that we're given all of these days, I apologize, we're given all of these days, and that we should look at each day as an opportunity to gain wisdom and to make a difference in the lives around us. And so I thought about all of that this morning. I'm really considering, as I'm looking at this text, using this for our Ash Wednesday scripture actually. But friends, I think this unique reminder to us if we're really going to count what matters, if we're really going to count as a way of keeping track, then we shouldn't be lulled into a sense of, well, today's just another day, today's just another day. I hear people say that, especially people much younger than us, when they celebrate a birthday and you wish them happy birthday and they say, today's just another day. No, it's really not. It's really not. Today, in God's presence, where God moves in our lives, is not just another day. It's an amazing opportunity in the midst of our lives to be in God's presence and then to share our lives with each other, and then hopefully, affect the lives of those around us. And I think we ought to take that counting of this day very seriously, as Moses did. And so I would pray that for you and I, that we might not just drift through another day and drift through another day, and pretty soon, we're into another week or another month, but that we would look at each day as an opportunity to gain wisdom, and then use that wisdom, of course, to know of God's presence in our lives, and then use that to make the world, to love God and to love our neighbor, and to make the world a better place. So Moses invites us to wisdom, and I think that invitation that's given to us is a powerful one that we should take the opportunity to live out fully. So I pray that you'll take a look at this word, Psalm 90, verses 1 through 12. Go back and look at it again, and be reminded that we're called to number our days and to do so with wisdom. And if we do that, we live life to the fullest in a powerful way. So thanks for being with me this morning. Thanks for always joining me in our daily conversation together. Know of God's love and grace and mercy and peace and wisdom in your life today. Know of my love for all of you as I seek to count today and as I seek to gain wisdom with all of you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.